Do you have braces and did you break a bracket? I found this short online that we're going to react to. Hopefully it helps all you bracket busters out there. Time for some PFOing so you know where you're going. Hey everybody, it's me, Dr. Ryan Packard. I am in McKinney and Anna, Texas. It's a great place to be. If you are in the Texas area, specifically Collin County, Texas area, or even further, you're welcome to come and find me so we can talk about straight teeth and beautiful bites. Well, often how we get there is through braces. More and more people are considering the clear aligner, but I found this video related to a broken bracket, and I thought I would react to it to give you some insight for those of you who are going through bracket experience, braces experience specifically. So here we go. What do you do if you have a poking wire? Poking wire? Exclamation point, question mark? Well, exclamation point, because sometimes wires can really poke you, especially that initial experience, just like, ah! And then question mark is like, what do I do about all this? Like, let's see. Okay, first off, love the music.
It makes you bubble your head like that.
All right, secondly, just to review, you've got a few different things going on here. You've got the wire, you know which that part is, that's the straight part, goes through each component there. Each tooth, right, you can see the very front part, the furthest forward you can see is a premolar bracket, and then another premolar bracket, and then a metal band. Check out the other video regarding separators. That's where we put those little blue donuts in between your teeth so that we can seat these bands around your teeth. The bands, the reason why we use bands is sometimes they can provide a little bit more anchorage, especially if you're using other devices like headgear or putting a lot of pressure back against that tooth, right? Then you use a band that can be helpful. So you got the band, and then you've got the brackets, right? And the wire goes in between the brackets, and that's what we consider the basic components of braces. So the band is less likely to break off, but the brackets, because they're only glued to one surface, right, makes them a little bit easier to come off, but they shouldn't just be like, you know, falling out of your mouth. So what do you do? Look at that. This gal, okay, for a home fix, she took a giant glob. Like, don't be generous here, right? You don't want to be like swallowing like, you know, a golf ball size of wax, but be generous, grab a good pinch and stick it over the portion. Maybe even try to, if it's possible, right, include some of the metal components that are still in your mouth. That might help give you some grip. Otherwise, if you just stick it on the tooth, sometimes there's not a lot for the wax to grab onto, and so it just falls off. This was a pretty good technique, but that's what you can do at home. So make sure if you get braces for the first time, or even as you go periodically, you can ask for more wax, or you can probably get wax at different stores online. Pretty much get everything on Amazon. But that was good technique, good wax technique, because a lot of people talk about it falling off, and you got to be able to shove it up there and try to get it to include some of the other components in your mouth. That'll probably help it stay. Look at that thing. See how she bent that? That wire came all the way out. That's a flexible wire. And that's usually the kind of wire that we're using to straighten your teeth initially. And they can be very helpful, but when they're so flexible, sometimes the wires can move a little bit easier. They can flex. Flexible wires can flex. You chew a lot of food, cause it to displace. But, well, if you can't fix it at home, or let's say it's hurting you and you kind of fix it, but it's still like hurting, it's not, you know, completely taken care of, then definitely got to go into your orthodontist. Or if you happen to have this cool plier at home, this is called a distal end cutter, because the very back of the mouth is the distal component, or distal area, relatively speaking. And you get your little cutter and you get it behind the distal section, and you just like that. Let's see. Look at that. Look at that. And it just grabs it and pulls it off, and look how much shorter it is. I personally don't mind if there's like a little bit, I'm not the one with the brackets. I like when the wire is maybe just like a hair long. We can see it barely popping out the back, because that tells me that it's the wire, the full wire. The wire is trying to gain control of the full bracket tooth. Wires that barely poke in the hole, I mean, they can't control the tooth as well as a wire that goes all the way through, and it can really try to move the tooth around, especially as the wire gets bigger. So try not to leave it too long. If a bracket breaks, which in this case, it broke in the very back. We call them the 12-year molars. We usually put like a little bracket on those. A lot of force happens back there. there and it's right up against the cheeks. People don't usually love that, but you get used to it. So if that were to come off, try to save the bracket, put the wax on, you include some of the other components. If that doesn't work and you can't get in soon enough, you might consider trying to just trim the wire in the back. Or if you can get in to visit with your provider, they can either put the bracket back on, or sometimes if it's after clinic hours, they might just cut the wire, try to get you out of pain until they can take care of you another time. So, breaking brackets. Some people can go through their entire orthodontic treatment without breaking any brackets, so it's possible. Some of the reasons why people break brackets are in the initial gluing process, all right? You're doing a lot of brackets. Spit is the enemy of good, strong bonds, all right? Like a bond between brothers. You know, you need a strong bond. And if you get spit on your teeth during the cleaning process prior to putting brackets on your teeth or gluing them to your teeth, that could weaken the bond, and eventually those brackets could come off. So that's definitely one reason why it could come off. Another reason, which is very common, is that we're not careful enough with what we're eating. Crunchy, chewy, sticky. Crunchy is kind of like hard. There are different kinds of foods out there like that that can put pressure, and when you bite down, you probably don't realize it, but you have an incredible biting force that can cause the teeth to can put a lot of pressure on the teeth to move if that force is sustained or consistent or just really high, really fast, cause the brackets to break off. So it wouldn't be uncommon if you had a broken bracket. Hopefully you don't have too many broken brackets because it has the potential to extend our overall treatment time because we have to take care of things during our appointments that we weren't intending to. If you're really close to finishing, let's say you've been in braces for like a year and a half, 2 years, you're like coming to the close or whatever it is, it depends on how severe the problem was to begin with, but you're in what we call the detail phase where the orthodontist is doing like all these bends in the wires and trying to get you to that perfect smile. You break a bracket then, right? It is even more important to immediately get it taken care of because if that tooth moves on you, you can add time to your total treatment. You don't want to do that. All right, and of course, if you're an excessive bracket breaker, there may be some extra costs associated with braces. So good luck. Hopefully you like this video. Breaking brackets, again, a little inconvenient. Do your part. Try to be careful in what you eat and what you're doing and sticking in your mouth so that you don't break the brackets, or you try to reduce the risk of breaking brackets. And then if you have issues, right, remember the wax, remember that you can cut the wire if you absolutely need to, and then call your provider. Try to get in to get it managed so you're not hurting. And then hopefully they can get the bracket on at their soonest appointment for you. Continue your process of straightening the teeth and beautifying your bite. Well, if you like this video, give us a thumbs up. If you're in the area, or if you just want to come talk, come find us. Let's talk about straight teeth and beautiful bites. That's all I've got. Just a little PFOing so you know where you're going. Packard, out.